Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. While I love creating tutorials and helping you develop your painting skills, I realized it's been a while since I've taken the time to paint just purely for my own enjoyment and to challenge myself artistically. That's why in today's video, I'm pleased to share with you a watercolor demonstration of a Rhino, a project that's both a personal indulgence and an opportunity to sharpen my skills. As we go through this painting together, I'll show you the techniques I used. And I hope that this inspires you as much as it has reinvigorated my love for painting. And if you're looking to further enhance your skills or explore more watercolor techniques, don't forget I offer hundreds of online watercolor classes. Whether you're a beginner or looking to refine your expertise, there's something for everyone. As well as that, be sure to check out my blog where I share valuable insights, hints, and tips about painting in watercolor. There's a wealth of knowledge there that you can explore. The link to my website is in the description below. Today's painting was inspired by this striking reference photo I found on Pixabay. What drew me to this image was its simplicity and the clarity of detail in the rhino's head. Perfect for a focused portrait rather than painting the entire body. I also loved the subtle patches of red dirt on the rhino's head, adding a beautiful natural touch that I was excited to capture in the painting. So let's have a look at how these elements come together in the painting. I mixed some grey using Schmincke's French Ultramarine and Transparent Sienna. I chose these two colours because I'm familiar with them and I can easily adjust the temperature of the grey by varying the ratio of the two pigments. I really love Schmincke's French Ultramarine because of its strong granulating properties. As the paint dries, the pigment particles clump together on the paper, creating a textured or speckled appearance. And I thought this effect would be perfect for capturing the texture of the rhino's hide. They say to maximize the granulating effect, it's best to use rough or cold press watercolor paper because it helps accentuate the texture. However, for the Rhino, I used hot press paper, which is smooth. I chose hot press paper because I have some full sheets that have been sitting in my paper cabinet for nearly 10 years and I want to use them before they deteriorate. Even though I used hot press paper, the granulation effect was still quite pronounced on the smooth surface. You can see that granulation effect already as it starts to settle into the paper. The overall temperature of this painting is cool, so to balance that coolness, I decided to add a few areas of warmth. So here I'm using some transparent sienna. To enhance the warmth in that area, I also used some transparent orange. I applied it around the eye to repeat the colour and draw the viewer's attention there. I was thinking that the transparent sienna warm areas might get a bit lost within the grey areas. For added interest, I included a few swipes of cobalt turquoise, and these were the only 4 colours I used in the painting. After applying them, I lifted the board and let the colours flow together gently. Here the painting is dried and you can see the beautiful granulation effect of the French Ultramarine. It has added texture to the rhino's hide without any extra effort on my part. With everything washed in, it was time to start adding some form to the rhino. I began by painting the obvious shadow areas. Using a darker mix of the grey, I worked wet on wet to paint them in. For the little hairs around the edges of the ears, I used a quill brush. I loaded it with the grey paint. I spread the bristles out with my fingers and I painted the hairs quickly and efficiently, all at once with minimal fuss. I needed some black, so I mixed French Ultramarine with transparent sienna. When mixing dark colours like this, I prefer using freshly squeezed pigments because it allows for better control over the paint to water ratio. I use a brush that's just damp to blend the colours, achieving the desired depth of darkness. Then I add just a little water to adjust the consistency. Here I'm using the black on wet paper to deepen the colour around the edges of the ear. To make the head appear slightly forward, as if it were in front of the neck and body, I added another layer of the grey paint mixture. I continued working wet on wet for this layer as well. After washing in all the broad areas, I was drawn to painting the eye next. I noticed some blue tones beneath the eye in the reference photo. I painted some French ultramarine there. Next, I painted in the shadow on the eyelid. Here I used Payne's grey, thinking that it would be a time saver compared to mixing my own grey. But I wasn't satisfied with the result, so I switched back to using my custom grey mixture. For the eye itself, I applied the black mixture that I had prepared. After drying it, I tackled the dark shadow beneath the eye using the same black. There was also a prominent shadow above the top eyelid. To achieve soft edges, I painted this area on wet paper, allowing the paint to bleed. Once that was set, I returned to the eye to deepen the values for added depth. To ensure the creases and folds below the eye didn't appear flat, I wet each one individually with water before painting. I applied a grey shadow along the bottom of each crease, and I allowed the paint to bleed into the wet paper for a more dimensional effect. I took my time here. It was slow, but it was relaxing. While those areas were drying, I took the opportunity to paint in the dark cracks in the skin, enhancing the textural details. After painting in the initial layers, I allowed them to dry completely, and then I re-wet the paper in the areas where I wanted to enhance shadows. I used the grey mixture and I applied another layer to create greater depth. In this section, I'm working on dry paper. I've applied a wash of grey to the mouth area to establish the shadow, and I'm using a Rosemary & Co. eradicator brush to create highlights. This brush is used wet on the dry paper, where I gently rub the surface to lift the paint. I find these brushes incredibly useful for removing paint and cleaning up edges. For those interested, I've included a link to them in the video description. I initially washed in the shadow here with grey, but after it dried, I felt it wasn't dark enough. To deepen the tone, I applied another layer. This time the colour is more black. Again, when it was dry, I used the eradicator brush to create some highlights. I felt the paint had drifted up a little too high here, so again I used the eradicator brush just to lighten the colour there. I used it on its chisel edge here to create some little fine highlights in that dark area. I painted a bit more of the cobalt turquoise here under the nostril. Just glazing it over the top on the dry paper. And to add interest, I painted some across the top here as well. I wet the paper up here and I even painted a little bit of it there. I painted many of the fine lines and cracks in the hide freehand using a liner brush. At times, I also used a graphite pencil to enhance the details. For this section here on the side of the Rhino, I turned my painting upside down and I used a quill brush with a really fine point to paint in a lot of the creases. When I had nearly finished, I felt that the background needed some colour. So, on a whim and trusting my instincts without overthinking, I grabbed my Harkay brush and I splashed on some cobalt turquoise. I wanted this application of paint to be quick and loose, contrasting with the detailed work that I had done on the Rhino. In a burst of creativity, I decided to add some pan pastel to the painting. I applied it in a few strategic spots to enhance the Rhino and add interest. Using an eye makeup applicator for precision, I dabbed on the pastel and then used my finger to blend it into the paper, softening the effect. And I think this added not only a splash of colour, but also some vitality and intrigue to the painting. And there it is again, finished. Thank you for joining me today as we brought this Rhino to life with watercolours. I hope you enjoyed the process as much as I did and that you're inspired to try painting something that speaks to you. I'll see you in the next video.
Oh, that looks beautiful, Louise.
What does?
You.
As we go through this painting together, I'll show you the techniques I used. No. That's a big word, isn't it? Reinvigorated. I sound smart, don't I? Don't I?
Yes.
You're not nodding hard enough.
Yes, darling.
And if you're, no, and, a big and. This is a big and. And